think that there are almost no gaps between the Israeli public attitude with regard to the objectives of the war and with regard to the conditions for releasing the hostages. There are almost no gaps between the Israeli public and Benjamin Netanyahu. I think that what the Americans are trying to do here is something which is between intervention and even interference in the Israeli politics. I think that they do not read correctly the map. It is right that the Israeli public is very, very critical towards the security establishment and the political establishment, mainly Prime Minister Netanyahu, but it doesn't mean that the public does not support the objectives to the war that were set by Benjamin Netanyahu. And just a few days ago, a new poll that was conducted by the INSS shows that more than 65% of the entire Israeli public rejects the idea of a two-state solution. And another poll of the Bitronistim says that 94% of the Israeli public supports the objectives of the war. So there is no daylight between the public and Prime Minister Netanyahu with regard to these topics.
Right. The question, though, then, remains as to what is going to happen once those hostages are released, because, we're hearing from families of hostage members that they feel that Netanyahu specifically may not actually have a seated interest to get these hostages released sooner than later because of what it could mean for his political career in the aftermath of this war.
I don't want to judge the families of the hostages, and they have the right to say whatever they think, because they are in a very, very sensitive and problematic situation, and I can understand it, and I can identify with that. But it doesn't mean that Prime Minister Netanyahu or the Israeli government is not interested in releasing all the hostages. The government has some...
Or perhaps prioritizing is a better word.
Okay. Even the idea of priorities. I think that the Israeli government has additional interests and objectives, and I think that the Israeli government understands pretty well that we cannot accept any condition that Hamas will set for the releasing of the hostages. Otherwise, we will find ourselves in front of much more severe problems and many, many more hostages in other fronts. And therefore, we have to find the right way. And now we are in a situation where Israel accepted the framework of the mediators. Hamas rejects this framework. So what is exactly the basis of the complaints in this regard?